think of it in the
I feel like
sense of,
dating right now is very transactional.
but it has to be. As you get older, there's very much in dating that it's like, how do you offer, like, how do you come into my life and
Mm-hmm.
offer me something? And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be sex. It doesn't even have to, like, it doesn't have to be money. It could be mutual respect. It could be
Mm-hmm.
balance.
Well,
It could be security. But it's, how do you come into my life and make my life better?
see, but I don't think that's a transactional thing.
It is, if you go to the, I ain't even gonna fucking use those terms because I don't 100% know macro and micro. Um, but when you break everything down to like the most minute characteristics of it,
Uh-huh.
it is. When you're talking, okay, so like
Okay, yeah.
when you're
I
talking
understand your point.
when
Yeah.
you're talking transactional, right?
Uh-huh.
How do we have sex? How do we
See, but
conversate?
But that's okay.
That is transactional.
Yes, but it shouldn't be. Like, I shouldn't just be talking to you because I'm going to get something out of it.
No, that's not what I'm saying though. Is when I say transactional is, okay,
Well, I guess we'd have two different definitions
so
of
when I'm
transactional,
saying
yeah.
transactional is, right? So like let's just start off from the beginning.
Okay.
You're taking somebody on a date, right?
Okay.
Let's just say you're going through financial troubles and you're like, you know what? Let's just find a way to go on a date,
Uh-huh.
right? Maybe you're just going for a nice little drive and you're going to go grab a snack.
Uh-huh.
All right. Transactional. When we're talking about the most basic versions of transactional, I'm using my fuel and we're going to grab a snack. That doesn't mean that somebody's going to have sex with me. That doesn't mean that that's going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, resources have been used to develop relationship. That
See,
is
but
that is transactional.
Okay, yes, but it shouldn't be seen that way. Like, if I want to spend my time with this person,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about the fuel that I spend. I don't care about the money that I spend. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I am close to your work. I'm gonna take you food. Oh, how much do I owe? No, you don't owe me anything. This is because I wanted to. It's
But-
not a transactional thing.
But when I'm saying transactional, I'm not talking about like you owe me a balance and I owe you a balance.
Uh-huh.
Right? It's a sense of like, how many people, and they're just starting off dating, is completely fine with them sitting around doing zero, not doing anything.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm just saying, like, we live in such a high-speed civilization now where you have, are you going to sit around with the dude who can't do zero, or are you going to go with the guy who's going to take you to Chamagaucha? Like, in a world,
but you're talking to the
it
wrong
depends.
girl for that. Because
But I'm saying, like, in the world that we live
so,
in,
like, we're going back to societal thoughts and views. It is very transactional. Who's
Yeah.
gonna give me the most? That's not how I see things.
but we also, now, once again, there's always outliers,
Yeah.
right? There's always outliers to the fact. Like,
I love that we keep like circling back like,
Yeah,
on
no.
topics.
I'm ADHD, baby.
Girl, same. I mean,
Always,
not
just-
girl, same, but
Girl.
girl, same.
No, like, it's we live in a world now
Mhm.
that you have to show some, like me as a man,
Mhm.
I have to do extraordinary stuff to get attention from somebody, because if I don't, now I'm not saying every single if I'm taking 10 women,
Okay.
9 out of 10 of those probably, right? I haven't done the actual math on it. 9 out of 10 of those are probably going to require some form of compensation, whether it's food, whether it's gas, whether it's some form of entertainment for them to even want to go on a second date with you. We already talked about how I'm misunderstood. You're going to give me a chance to not spend money and you're only going to listen to me talk? That's not a good...
See, but that's again okay. Very dependent on the person because that's not how. So,
Yeah.
like,
Outliers.
yeah.
Outliers.
Yeah.
I think that there is those outliers that you don't have to do because they know what they want.
Yeah.
They know what they want. They're healthy. Like, They're healthy minded. Like,
Does the hair flip?
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But how many people are like that?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, maybe we just don't know because majority media says.
And
that's
then
not how
hurt
it
people. Well, you know what? I've been hurt before. I've been after the guy who did all of this other stuff.
is. Yeah.
And da-da-da-da. And now I'm
So do you think dating apps makes it worse?
100%.
Right? Because it's like, okay, I feel like people don't understand that dating apps are generated to keep people on them. It goes to the proximity
Yeah.
of choice. Like, if I have 10 different men, I only had one thing wrong about this date. Maybe my next date, there'll be nothing wrong. Oh, but I still, and they're all
Yeah.
great guys, but I keep finding one flaw in all of them. And it's like, there's such an abundance of choice that I don't have to settle down. Not me personally, but that's just like,
I've talked about this on here before,
uh-huh,
and I will probably never change my opinion on this.
uh-huh.
We are animals. We are animals.
Rawr.
We are. Like, we are animals. Our
Yeah.
animal
We have
instinct.
animalistic instincts.
Our animal instinct is to procreate.
Mm-hmm.
We have developed this thing that we need to fucking be in love and do all of this shit and have a nuclear family and all of this other stuff. That is all shit that we designed, right? So when now I'm not saying that it's wrong to be in love and have the nuclear family.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're telling me that there's only so many people on this earth, then you want to bring it all the way down to the people in my local area that I'm going to get along with, idealistically agree with,
Uh-huh.
willing to raise kids with, get married, so on and so forth. And they're going to meet all of my characteristics, like the things that I need, the attributes that I require them to have for me to be sexually attracted to them. Okay, cool. You find that person. What is the likelihood that they are the hottest person out? They're meeting all of the other requirements. The emotional shit, the helping around the house, the all of the extra shit. What is the chance
See,
that
okay, I can't speak on this because it's like so far. I mean,
you're going to get on Tinder and find somebody hotter than that person, but they're going to have absolutely zilch to add to your life.
The guys that I date, I am physically attracted to, and most times, I mean, I'm not in a relationship with somebody now, but
She's single, guys.
God,
She's single. DM her.
no, but
You can find her on OnlyFans. I'm just kidding.
no, I don't. Please clear the
It's
air.
free, y'all. Check Twitter. Like, check
It's all his
Instagram.
feet pics.
That's a market. That's a
You
market.
do have an OnlyFans with feet pic, don't you?
I don't. My feet are ugly. I've worn.
Just shave your toes.
I've worn steel toe boots too long.
Oh man, but to go back to where like, oh, see the guys that I've dated. I mean,
From a
like,
woman's.
hold on, like let me finish my thought. So the guy that I'm talking to now.
Ooh.
No, we're not getting.
So she might not be single, y'all. Like, she's involved.
So the guy that I'm talking to now, he like. I mean, we're still getting to know each other super early on, but
Just the most
he
awkward
has,
part.
yes, and I guess I feel like
Can you fart around him? That's why it's fucking awkward.
I don't fart. I'm a woman.
Oh my god, whatever.
Okay, no. So like the guy that I'm talking to now, I think he's fairly attractive, like really attractive. But he also has a lot of the characteristics and so far the personality that is what I'm wanting. But then again, like we're still getting to know each other super early on, so I feel like sometimes people, and again, he doesn't seem the type, but you know, we'll see. I feel like a lot of times people put on
Facades.
facades for so long. So it goes back to like, I never used to believe in like the 3-month rule of like getting to know people until like the last 2 years.
What do you mean?
So
Are you talking about like sex? Or are you talking about like...
just getting to know somebody in general?
Because I'm against a waiting for sex policy. I need to know right off the bat if I'm compatible with you. And I know, like, I understand a lot of people been hurt and a lot of people been used for that shit. I need to know right off the bat if I am compatible with that like...
I'm just gonna like skim over the sex topic.
For me, I'm a very like... I'm a spiritual, sexual person.
Yeah.
To me, that is a huge deal in a relationship to me.
I feel like a lot of times, if you have sex early on, the relationship gets lazy.
I don't think so.
Yes, it does.
If you're compatible,
in my experience, the sex can be amazing, but the relationship parts gets lazy because now every time you see me, it's a sex thing and not oh hey, I want to make you feel appreciated and loved and pretty or whatever. I just want to have sex with you.
Yeah, I mean,
but I feel like it's I don't know. I would say it's more of a girl thing.
I think it very much depends on the guy.
But yeah, it depends on the guy. But
like from a male perspective.
But I've also noticed, because I've been single for the last 2-3 years, and I've noticed
she might be single, guys. I don't. She keeps going back and forth, dog.
No, we're not talking about this. But so like I've noticed that at 3 months, personalities start to change, and not like in the best way. Like I feel like the things that I was attracted to start to fade. And
but
then
I
know
think
it's not everybody, because it's just like it's dependent on the guy. But I do think that like 3 months is a good time frame to like, okay, this person is actually this person.
Okay, so do you think, because 3 months is a while, it honestly depends on the person.
Yeah.
Do you think 3 months is enough for you to know if you love that person? Like,
love is a funny thing, though. That's a different thing.
But, I mean,
my last... See, but, okay, I said...
because that is a huge debate, is like lust versus love. Like, you can have lust and feel like you're in love with that person.
See, okay.
But then there's also, like, I've been in relationships where it was purely physical. And then there's other relationships I've been in that's like,
purely emotional.
Yo, I want you to stick around. Like, I want you to hang out.
See, with my ex, I like...
Give me all the dirty laundry.
I know. I'm too much personal stuff.
All the dirty laundry.
This is what happens when you have a female on a podcast.
Okay, hold on. This is going to be a 2-parter because we're already like an hour and 50 in.
No way.
Yeah, and...
What time is it? Damn.
I don't know. But it's good because I need to have conversations like this with females.
Opposite sex.
Because like I can sit there and tell other men what I'm thinking or how I feel about certain topics.
And you guys will most likely agree.
Most likely. Because there is a point that I'm going to get to that like is a pure difference between men and women. Y'all require emotional connection. But this goes back to the Tinder, the Bumble, all of the extra shit. Y'all can find a moderately attractive guy that checks the boxes, and y'all are attached emotionally. A man can be emotionally attached to a woman and immediately become distracted by... Like, there's a reason why Brazilian butt lifts and tit jobs and Kylie Jenner lips are a thing. It's not because... somebody somewhere just made it happen. Is because NBA players want these Instagram models or NFL players want these Instagram models that is...
See, but I never thought about it that far. To me, it's like, okay, going back to love, right? Like, is 3 months a good time?
But how many people are searching for love? You know what I mean? How many people are getting into relationships to marry?
But then it goes back to... See, I date to marry. But then it goes back to
But you're an outlier.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like...
But like, okay, so it goes back to how right now dating in society is very transactional.
It is. But that also goes back... I feel like
let me finish my thought. So like, I fell in love with somebody in less than a month. But then there's other people that it takes longer, you know? But then there's people that you meet and like, oh, I met them many years ago and I've always loved them and things worked out, versus like, oh, we met 16 days ago, we're married and we've been married for the last 50 years, you know? Like, I don't think that there's a certain time for love. I think when you love somebody, it's just one of those things that you love somebody, but it's very different than the emotional attachment that we give ourselves sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, love and emotional attachment are completely different things.
But I think they could be the same thing. I think you have to learn.
They can coincide.
Yeah, I think you have to learn that. Because, like, I've obviously, but, like, I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this don't know.
Uh-huh.
I grew up with predominantly single mom and 4 sisters.
Uh-huh.
And even my stepdad, when he came in the picture, he was gone.
Yeah.
So I grew up mainly around women.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand, like, but this goes back to, you can do that with women.
Yeah.
Women are very much, they can learn to love somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Men, I'm not saying it's impossible, but for the most part, there's not a man kind of just knows what he's.
Okay, so question, because this was a topic the other day.
A lot of topics.
I know, it's because I'm great at topics. I'm super ADHD.
Topical.
Topical, like tropical.
With an R.
With an R.
For radical.
Anyways, so what was my question?
I don't know.
What was the topic? Yeah. Okay, so do you think a man that is a serial cheater can be in a monogamous marriage?
I do, but this is a huge but.
Uh-huh.
Big old booty. Yes, but he's going to end up with somebody that's very similar to him. Now, so when I say he can end up in a monogamous relationship, that does not mean that woman will feel the same way about him. He can find a woman that he loves and wants to stay with, but she will probably have similar traits to that guy. There is a very common theme, hurt people, and a cheater typically ends up with the cheater. Like, it happens. That's just psychology. It is, we seek people that have similar attributes, thought processes, like, as we have. And I think if you're a serial cheater, you're going to end up with somebody like a sociopath that's willing to cheat. But you know what ends up probably happening is a very toxic relationship, and they're just a toxic, open relationship where both of them can just fuck whoever, and they come back together for the emotional shit. In today's society, it's a possible thing. Yeah. Open relationships are getting more common.
Do you agree with open relationships?
Fuck no. No, we're humans. We're animals. We are territorial. You do not come near my woman. I do, like, women do not come near her man.
Yeah.
We are territorial creatures. You do not come in my house, you will get shot. That is, you do not fuck with my tribe. Like, yeah. That is us by nature. And I do think that with the involvement of social media, and once again, I've said this before, I think we try to avoid our instincts.
Okay.
Like, if we're jealous about something, we try to hide it.
Not me.
Well, you're jealous for a reason. Yeah. It's intuition.
Yeah.
Jealousy is intuition. It's like, yeah, that motherfucker's looking at you weird. Like, you might say it's just a friend thing, and I'm looking at him like,
so, like,
that's how I looked at you before I got you.
But then in that case, it's like, wouldn't it go back to a trust thing between us two?
No, it would. But the
like,
problem...
Okay, so, like, if I'm dating you and I'm out dancing, but we're out together, but I'm dancing with somebody else, but I'm just there to dance. Whether he has feelings for me or not, I'm there to dance, and I'm still going back to you. And I know that you're my person, and I don't give two craps about nobody else. How would you feel about that?
You have an intuition about people.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think, and I know most people, this is probably a very unpopular opinion. We fucking know if our partner's doing some shit.
Yeah.
We have a feeling.
Uh-huh.
Like, we have an idea.
It's a discernment.
If they're
It's an
even
intuition.
having, what's the word? They're, just
Temptations.
not even temptation. If they're even having, like, thoughts that it might not be working out, we know.
Yeah.
We feel it.
Yeah.
That's where jealousy comes in. That's why whenever, like, there's that saying of, like, if you think that they're cheating and they're defensive, they're probably cheating. It's because it's like, like, you have a feeling. We're animals. Like, a dog knows when somebody's trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
We're apes. Like, that is what we are. Whether you are biblical or not, we are fucking we're creatures. We have an intuition that we know. Now, if I can sit there and look at my partner and say, hey, my intuition tells me you're coming back over here. You're going to be fine. Now, I know that motherfucker's dancing with you because he has an ulterior motive. But if I trust in your capability of telling him no, shutting him down, and protecting yourself, go on. Have fun. Do it. I personally don't mind. But also,
You're a very confident guy. And you know that.
I know that if something was to happen, like, you're your own person. You're your own. If you were to go with that guy and get his number, and then I find out you're texting him 3 days later, who's the stupid one? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, man, like, I'm picking up on a vibe. Like, we know.
Yeah.
We don't want to admit it because we might be in love. We might be, we might be completely fine in our relationship. We might be completely comfortable. Whatever it may be. We choose. Like, bro, people can get their ass beat in a relationship and they're like, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So what? He put me in the hospital 3 times and gave me a concussion and I lost 2 babies.
But he still has a good heart.
He's a good guy. He could have hit me harder.
Yeah.
He could have grabbed the hammer. But it's like...
But then it goes back to, like, sometimes people don't know no better.
Do they want to know better?
True.
You know if you're being mistreated.
Yeah.
I think most people do. Now, there are some people that come from...
broken homes
and they honestly they thrive in chaos. Like, that's something I'm learning, like, as I get older, like, how to detract from all of that. Like, I don't understand what healthy relationships are, so, like, I'm finding myself second guessing certain aspects of life because I'm trying to learn.
See, it took a lot
and you come from a fairly healthy,
yeah, like, my parents are best friends. They love and respect each other 110%, and they're there for each other, but there was a lot of things that I had to learn and I had to grow, and I had to realize that, he didn't love me. That was not healthy. I was taken advantage of, and it took for, like, years later for me to realize that
that's the problem.
Was the situation.
But that's that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is, like, in the moment, we knew. I mean, we probably knew. We're like, hey, this isn't going to work out. Like, this isn't... Like, there's something about it.
I was really naive to it, though, until...
That's fair.
And then...
You don't know until you know.
And I didn't know, and I was like, it wasn't one of those things to where I turned a blind eye.
But right there, if you're using the term "turned a blind eye," you know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of people, and I've been in those relationships.
Yeah.
You know it ain't gonna work, but it's like a roller coaster.
But I want it to work so bad. But okay, see, then it goes to. So we're creatures of habit. When you're in,
we get comfortable.
When you're in a relationship that you're consistently getting triggered, in the sense to where there's drama, there's chaos. It's
fun.
Yeah, it's
fun.
Something that you get used
Angry
to.
sex is the best sex. then you get to make up. You will start creating fights to make it up.
But it's not. But it's not even the sex part of it. It's just the.
It's
we're fighting
all of
and
it.
not fighting. We're not fighting and we're fighting. And
It's all of it.
It's that trigger in your brain. So that's why people say the hardest relationship is a healthy one after a toxic one, because this is normal. I am not supposed to be feeling those heightened emotions. I am not supposed to be feeling all that.
But it's boring. That's the problem. Is it's boring.
But it's not boring when you realize that it's healthy.
But it's still boring.
But
it's just
not boring.
But
okay, like
no, hold on.
It
is boring, but the issue is boring is stable.
But
stable is good.
I don't think the word boring is correct.
When I'm using the phrase that it's boring, I'm talking about
you mean stable.
I'm not worried about you cheating on me. You're not worried about me. We got each other. We have a healthy relationship.
It's a stable, healthy relationship.
Boring. Because I'm not worried.
People who have been in a traumatic situation going to a healthy relationship will probably feel bored.
But that's what I mean, though, is when you're bored.
But I feel like I don't want to label it as boring, because it's not boring. That is the normal. It feels boring to somebody who came from a traumatic relationship or who is used to chaos.
Yeah.
Then it's boring. But I'm not going to label a healthy relationship as boring, because I don't.
My thing,
disagree.
okay, but I'm not using boring as like a negative term.
But
Here's an example, right? Is I think we go through phases in our life, and we all go through a phase where we like to go out and party, right? And then we go through phases where we like to sit at home, drink like a hot cocoa or coffee, and you're under a cover watching a movie.
Yeah.
Theoretically, that is a form of boring. Like, you're not doing it's
not boring
but
if
I'm
you're
saying,
enjoying it.
But I'm saying, like,
it would be boring to the, what did you say? 19-year-old strappy guy.
Horny as fuck. But, like, that is boring comparatively speaking to going out, getting that adrenaline fix.
You shouldn't call it boring.
But when I'm using
I understand what you're saying.
I'm using it in comparison.
But use a different word.
Okay, well, stable. I'm using it in comparison.
Yeah.
So when you're going from, and that's something that I've had to battle with, you go from a toxic relationship into a healthy one, you have to learn being in that boring, stable, that just every single day it's the same thing. That is good. Because you get so attached to there always being conflict that it is boring in retrospect.
It's a habitual thing. It's
but
a habit.
You have to learn. Wait, I can go to work and I'm not getting into a fight. I can come home and go to bed and I'm not worried about
nice.
You don't know. So in that sense, it's boring and stable, but it is a very good thing.
Yeah.
But you have to learn that. That is a learned trait. And I've met women, I guess it's more so in women than men. They have to learn. I've been with women that they did not. The
thing is,
I would treat them so good that they were like, whoa.
Why?
No, I don't like this.
But that's the thing, though. Oh, it makes me so angry because I get so giddy and happy and excited over a guy that does the bare minimum. That does what he should be doing.
Because that's the hardest thing to do. To do the grandiose things, like take you to dinner, to take you to do go watch fireworks on New Year's and 4th of July, and to do this extravagant shit. Cool, that's what we're expected to do, right? That's the when we're thinking about when we watch movies, right? We watch these love movies. That's what you see. Right.
See, okay, but I'm talking about something different. It's the how do I put it? Hey, we went out on a date and you're not expecting sex from me? Wow. That's kind of awesome.
I mean, I guess. Well, I don't know. I can't really because I've never.
It's a different thing.
I've never taken somebody out with, unless it was pre-disclosed. But, like, I've never, like, taken somebody out and be like, no,
See-
I'm buying you dinner. You're slobbing.
But see, that's an outlier in a way.
No,
because it's
100%. I am an
Because, like,
outlier.
I'll talk about it in, like, the group chat, right? Or, because it wasn't something that happened recent. It was just us and the girls who were talking about it in the group chat to where, oh my God, he took, it wasn't me, it was my friend, but it was like, oh, he took me out to dinner. We had a really good date. I offered to pay and he paid for everything. And I'm not expecting, like, I'm not talking about, like, the payment part, but it's like, but, like, he wasn't expecting me to go home with him. He didn't get mad when I didn't have sex with him. And, like, it's like, damn, that sucks. Like, it sucks that because he doesn't have obligations or expectations, I should say, of sex after treating you the way you should be treated, like, that's something that's exciting. When that should be a normal thing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. As a guy, okay, so as a guy who, like, doesn't actively take people out to get something in return, right?
But it goes back to transactional.
But so everything you just explained sounds like it is from past trauma, right? Like, you had been on dates with guys expecting.
Yeah.
So you know.
But
so
but like the
so
thing is,
I don't
like,
think
it's not a me thing. It's a
weird thing.
This is a girls group chat, and we all felt the same way.
But what I'm saying is like, so it's not. You're just
we're getting personal.
You're just like, you're turned on by the fact he did what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
He handled the situation as a man.
Yeah.
Not a boy, not a child, no, well, whatever. He handled the situation as a man, and you know what that is? That is a show of character that says, you took me out, you did this, and you're fine with going home alone. You understand this shit takes time.
Yeah.
That is an attractive feature.
Yeah.
Right? That would just be, like, to speak from a male's perspective, that would be like me going out with a woman and her not expecting me to cover every single bill every time we ever go out.
Okay.
Now, I might say, like, no, I got this, but to expect me, let me spend all of this money on you, right? Always goes back to transactional. That it's like that if I'm out with a woman and she's like, you know what, let me tip.
Yeah.
You can cover the meal, I'll tip. Like, I'm not even that's where I'm like, no, we're good. Like, I'll tip everything. You just showed me who you are.
Yeah.
In that moment. The counterpart to that is, right? Like, I come from a traditional family. Yeah, you should fucking pay for food, everything else like that. Shouldn't tell you gotta fuck. Like, that's not on the menu. Could be. But, but that's the thing, though, is like, and I maybe if this thing takes off, I need to be a motivational speaker to, like, young men.
Start now.
Him doing that is probably gonna make you way more willing to do that stuff because he respected you and handled it as he showed what he needs to do. You're gonna be more likely,
more attracted.
First off, the loudest one in the room is probably the most ignorant. Yeah. So the one that's like, yeah, I got this, man, I'm gonna tear that shit up. I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna bow. You know what I'm saying?
Can you demonstrate that one more time?
But the one that's like calm, reserved. Hey, let's wait. Like, we got this. I understand. Your thought process is probably like, wait.
Yeah.
Why is he so confident?
Yeah.
Why is he so like? Now I'm curious. Now I kind of want to know, like, what's
going on?
What's
up?
There's a thing about it, and like, we live in a world now where, like, young men are taught to, what is it called, neg women, like, where they need to speak in negative terms about women to get attention, or like, oh, this is transactional. You gotta fuck me because I bought dinner, but it's like, bro, I ain't gotta do shit for you.
Yeah.
You need to be funny.
But see, okay.
Like, you need to be able to have a conversation.
I feel like, okay, now I feel like I contradict myself in a lot of things. It's because I have multiple opinions about certain topics. So, like, then again,
So how are you contradicting yourself on
I'm
that,
about
though?
to.
Okay.
So, then again, it's also a lot of women's fault because whenever the whole women became very macho and feminist and this and that, which, don't get me wrong, I can do anything a man can do. But am I a princess? Yes, I'd love to be spoiled. I want you to change my oil. I know I can't change my oil, but I want you to do it for me because that's just something that...
Be a man. Put me in my place.
But I feel like when all that stuff was happening, as far as, like, again, the feminist movements was, like, super, super trendy and popular, we took away not the ability of you being a gentleman, but, like, now you're hesitant to the next girl that you take out on a date. Is she going to throw a fit because I opened her door?
Okay.
What do you think?
Hold that thought. I got to really piss.
Okay.
We're back. Okay.
I kind of have to pee too.
Well, if I can go so I can...
Nah, it's okay. I'll just wait till we're done.
Yeah, once we get to, like, 2:30, that way I can split it up and everything will be...
Okay.
Because I'll end up splitting this up into, like, 2.
Uh-huh. This flowed very well.
It's a part of a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Is it gives you a chance to talk to people.
Oh my god, I want, like, so many more people to just come and talk to you. Like, I have great ideas of people to come talk to you now.
I can tell them to hit me up.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to
We should do, like, have you ever thought about, like, doing, like, a group of people?
Yes, but it's complicated because I have to get that bigger
yeah.
to where I have more inputs,
Mm-hmm.
more microphones. We're working on it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I ain't making money off the shit yet.
Okay.
Okay, so back to what we were
BYOM?
so
Bring your own mic?
huh?
BYOM?
Yeah,
Bring
right.
Your own mic?
So
What were we talking about?
okay, so you were explaining that, like,
Taking away
the
gentlemen.
feminist movement
Yeah.
has taken away. Now, I have a very strong opinion, and this comes from my background of living with women.
Okay.
And because I have a lot of friends
Mm-hmm.
that, like, they're bitch made. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Man the fuck up. If a woman doesn't want you opening her door, no. Stop. Learn how to be treated. I'm going to be consistent. You're going to have to change the way that you think about the way you need to be treated.
Yeah.
The problem is we have so many men out here that somebody, like, a woman's going to get onto him and he's going to back down.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, this is me. This is who I am. You're not touching a door. You're not touching a fuel cap. You're not.
Yeah.
I'm driving everywhere, even if I'm tired. You stop. You learn how to be treated.
Yeah.
Stop with this all. You can be an alpha woman. You can be career minded.
Okay, we've had this topic. We
did
this conversation before because I am a very alpha person, but, like,
You know what an alpha woman is?
tell me.
She is an alpha woman until she can be a beta. She can still be
Yeah.
very alpha minded,
Yeah.
but she needs to be led. That is us by nature. We try to go against it and we want to be career, but it's okay. You are alpha until you meet somebody that allows you.
I won't use the word needs to be led. I understand your point because yes, but I don't think those are the right words for it.
But it is. Like, so this is the way that I see it. Is like, I'm not saying that the woman should depend on a man.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying anything like that. But when you're talking about the characteristics of a relationship, and this goes all the way back in time,
Uh-huh.
the man he is the stability.
Okay.
Right? Now, I'm not saying that should take away from the woman's career. I'm not saying that should take away from anything that the woman does.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship goes...
We're talking strictly relationship-wise.
Yes.
Okay.
The relationship goes as the man lets it go. Like,
Okay, yes. Then yeah, okay, then if we're
he
talking
is leading the
strictly-
woman.
Yes, if we're talking strictly relationship wise, I completely agree. Because
Oh,
it's
unless it's like if it's not a relationship, fuck that motherfucker.
Yeah, then
Who
yeah,
cares
yeah.
about that guy?
Okay, yeah.
But
So strictly relationship wise, I feel like if
like I've dated plenty of alpha women
uh-huh.
for me to make these statements.
Yeah,
That
that's
you
your type.
have to I have a type.
Yeah.
Right? You have to show them that the reason why they're alpha women is because they believe that they have to be big, tough, strong.
Yeah, until somebody shows me that
Until
you show me that I can depend on you to do all these other things.
Until I can show you that you're allowed to be a beta, because I got you. You can be an alpha to every fucking other person in your career field. You can be everything else. But in this house, when you come into this house, I got you.
Oh man.
This is my domain.
Yeah.
I got you. You come home, you can be the baddest bitch in the world outside of this house. You can go, like, you're a real estate agent. You can go be a real estate agent and be shark hunting. Like, you can just bow, selling shit. But when you come in this house,
Uh-huh.
I got it. Because a woman is not designed, she is designed to be, one, a mother, a nurturer, these are all traits.
Mm-hmm.
She is supposed to be a lover, a nurturer, and all of the emotional aspects. A male is supposed to be a protector, a provider, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
We try to get away from that.
But see, okay, I feel like
It shows
again,
up.
Yeah, it does show up. So, oh man, and I feel like
We try to argue against all of that
This is one
stuff.
of those topics that, like, it has potential to get a lot of backlash in it, but it's a very societal thing that we took away that mindset as far as, like, a man has his place and a woman has her place. Like,
But
we are all made for separate things, you know, like,
But-
I am not equal to you and you're not equal to me in the things that we can provide as
let
a
me
man and as a
but let me
woman.
characteristic something real
Okay.
quick is just because you are a man,
Mm-hmm.
and I use that term vaguely, does not fucking mean that anybody owes you anything.
Mm-mm.
You show the woman that you're capable
to
of
earn
leading,
it,
and the
yeah.
more the woman is an alpha,
The more you have to
you
show
gotta
it.
be a leader and be able to tell her, I got it.
Mhm.
Because if she is an alpha, she's a businesswoman, she's a CEO, a VP, or whatever.
Mhm.
She did everything, didn't suck no dick to get that job. She had done everything right. She is a bad bee, right? Like, she is up here.
Uh-huh.
You gotta be a guy that makes that woman be like, you know what?
I don't have to be that person.
I
anymore.
can come home and be whatever I need to be in this house.
Mhm.
That
I
doesn't
can-
mean
I
that
can-
any man
I can
just...
I can live in my
You can-
femininity because you can be the alpha, the guy. You
And
can
that-
be that
there's-
masculine energy.
There's outliers to that. Like, I
Uh-huh.
think that there's some people that have, like, hormone problems and they don't have that thing.
Mhm.
But you're starting to see it more commonly that very successful women in their 40s, almost 50s, are
Mhm.
sitting there talking about, I have regrets because I was such a bitch. I was just, no man ever had nothing to do. Like, they couldn't do nothing for me. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want them to take me out. I didn't want nothing.
Mhm.
Now I'm 45 and I ain't got no kids, and that is the only thing now that I wish I would have done.
Which, if that's something that you never wanted to do, kudos to you. Like, it's not for everybody. But,
it's-
like, we're talking about people that want to be in relationships and how relationships should work or are.
Yeah.
If you look at most relationships that do work, that's kind of the playbook of it. Not
Wh-
necessarily the playbook, but, like,
Yeah.
that's how it works.
And sometimes
I mean,
it's
there's
not even...
outliers to it, but
But sometimes it's not even the man that has the lead. It's a beta male has to be with a strong woman, right? And that happens too.
yeah.
But it all comes down to the same shit. Alpha and beta. Like, somebody's leading, somebody's following, and you whatever position out of that, like, you want to be, you're not entitled to shit. I'm not entitled to any woman whatsoever. But I have to understand that if I am attracted to a certain kind of woman, that I got to be a certain kind of man. And this goes in the personality traits. This goes in the attributes.
Yep.
I can't expect me to go get the baddest woman in the whole world if I'm out here looking sloppy.
Yeah.
It's just, why would I want a 300-pound woman on me? Same thing with the girl. If she does everything, she's staying in shape, she's good, why would she want a 300-pound dude on her? Like, people don't think like that. People don't pay attention to it, and they just want to...
I want somebody that's going to, like...
They feel bad for themselves. Like, they're like, oh, that's fat shaming. That's whatever. No, I just want to be able to fuck whoever I'm in a relationship with. Like, I want to be attracted to them.
I wouldn't even go as far as like that, but it's just like, it's one of those things to where...
To me, it is.
Yeah, to you it is.
To me, it is.
But like, to me, I see it as like, I want somebody that's consistently giving effort to their own life as much as I give effort to my own life.
Yeah. Like,
it goes to like the whole levels thing that we were talking about earlier. Like, oh, I'm on this level and you're on that level and we're just not on the same level. But it's like, it's not because of how far you are in your career or what it is you do or whatever. It's about how much are you giving to yourself, and is your partner giving themselves the same amount or more?
No, 100%. Like, it's... I think part of what leads into this relationship issues that we have, at least within, I would say, this generations. Spider's gone, dog. I think part of the issue is we have an identity crisis.
Yeah.
People don't know who they are. Males are being projected to be more feminine. Women are being projected to be more masculine. And then it's like, then you have guys that are more feminine being scared because the woman's calling them a bitch. And then it's like,
yeah,
don't be a bitch. Yeah. Like, what are we doing? What are we, right? And we want to sit there and talk about like the people several generations ago. That was the thing, was like, if a woman ever talked to a man like that, he's like, backhanded. I ain't saying that's the right way to go, but I'm saying like,
excuse me.
but that was the thing, was like, no, who are you talking to? What are we doing here? Now it's almost, now it's almost reversed, where it's like the woman can say anything to the males, and the vast...
You look at me the wrong way, I'm gonna hit you.
But like the vast majority of men don't know how to handle that.
Well, because I feel like...
Which isn't sexy. It's not sexy.
No, but like, hold that thought, because it's like, you went to, like, if a woman talks to a man a certain way, they're gonna, you know...
No,
hold on.
I'm talking about like several generations ago, though.
Yeah.
Like the 60s, 70s, like...
But then, at what point were we at a happy medium as a society with, like... Because we're at two polar extremes. You know,
pre-social media.
Right?
Post-internet, pre-social media. 2006.
Yeah.
I think you're capable of having a very good relationship, but you're not being beat over the head with sexualization of everything. Social media came out, and it's literally, I can post on Facebook, I'm horny, and if you're a good-looking female and you're posting, hey, hit me with the link, literally, over the pandemic, there has been a whole industry that has been set by girls sharing provocative photos of their painted toes or lingerie, whatever it is.
Yeah. Everything's so sexualized now.
You know what I'm saying?
But I feel like it goes...
Back then, you didn't have that.
Yeah. But then it goes, like... It's something that I slightly struggled with, was, like, the identity crisis of, well, what am I worth as a woman if that's all I'm being seen for? Because of the over-sexualization on the social media industry.
But this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, though. So with that thought process, that requires a man to handle that type of woman. If you're worried about being over sexualized and what your position is,
find a man that doesn't sexualize
then
you.
find a man
Yeah.
who's going to show you
That
what position you have in the world, in the sense of like, I respect you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this XYZ for you and with you, and I'm going to show you how to be this opportunistic, well-rounded, respectable woman.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you're also going to be able to be this loving, nurturing person that you are genetically designed to be. There's a world where you can do both. You can still be alpha, you can be all of this other stuff, but it takes a kind of man.
Mm-hmm.
And
to bring out that side
and
of you.
I'm only saying this because obviously you like men. Like, and if it was a lesbian, I'd be like, yo, you need a super dyke woman that's gonna let you know. Like, but it's just one of those things where like people want to look at stuff as binary. Mm-hmm. And it's not. Like, they expect a man and a woman just to be okay. But it takes a certain kind of man to handle a powerful woman.
Yeah.
A woman that is spiritually aligned, who is healthy, who is whatever it is. Name the characteristic. That takes a special fucking person to be able to handle that, because that is a lot. You take a guy who's not comfortable with himself and put him in a combination with a girl who's very comfortable with himself.
It ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You need a man who's so comfortable with himself that he not really allows, but gives his woman the opportunity to be comfortable in herself in whatever role that may seem fit, right? That is the problem. Is we live in a world now that's like, no, you just have to accept me. The fuck I do.
No, like people.
There's a lot of things that are different.
Change together. Like,
we have political differences. We have attribute differences. I have my sexual preferences.
But it goes back to people being able to conversate and respect each other as people, and seeing that having differences is okay.
But now people can't. But see, with dating websites and social media and all of this other stuff,
proximity of choice. If I'm not okay with
people
this one,
don't
I'm
even
gonna find
know,
somebody that's gonna be perfect.
like, people don't even know how to have conversations no more.
Yeah.
Which is why I think podcasts have had such a boom. Self-plug. What's up?
Wow.
No, but I think that's why podcasts have had such a boom, is because
That's
I think
the only conversation you hear
I
now.
think we are a,
society craving conversation.
like, us as creatures.
Mm-hmm.
We like people.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we are. Like, we're powerful in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We have a tribe. That is what we're powerful in. But we're at like a weird crossroads, because people don't know how to talk. So they want to hear people talk.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're like learning certain aspects of conversational topics, like how you can talk to somebody and not be pissed off. Or maybe they're living vicariously through the other people's conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hadn't thought about it that way.
But like, I know a bunch of guys that won't walk up to a woman, and I'm like, why? Like, what are they gonna do?
Okay, so
They're gonna say no?
I was also talking about this with somebody. Like, I don't remember the last time I got asked for my phone number in person.
Because people are scared.
Since Wild West, honestly, was the last time somebody asked me for my phone number in person.
People are scared. Like, and even then, it's even, damn. It's like, it's one of those things where even at that moment, because like, I know probably the situation that happened with you when somebody asked, it's like, oh, I asked you to dance. We did one dance, and then I'm asking you for your number because we're about to go to our own little corners. But it's like, what happened to when we, like, I ask you to dance and we dance like several songs, and then like hang out, and I get to actually kind of like
conversate with
know you a little bit before I give you a very private thing to reach me on.
Yeah.
And it's like, now it's just almost and let me backtrack.
See,
too.
I've actually had a little bit more of that. but not in a courting way, in just
Like friendly.
in a friendly way to where,
That's
which
ugly
is still
too.
not the same, but it's like I actually, oh hey, we're in the same table, I got to know you, you're cool, let's keep dancing, and then after everybody goes to Whataburger, has those conversations, and then everybody switches numbers. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. But also, there's some people that just like me. Like, I don't go out to get anybody.
So like, yeah, exactly.
Like, I will go out. I will go
out.
out just to have a good time. So like, back when I was single, like I would ask, I would ask girls to dance or whatever, and they'd be like, "I have a boyfriend." I'm not trying to fucking marry you.
I'm just trying to dance. Yeah.
I'm just trying to dance. Like, I noticed you could dance. Like,
yeah.
But
not a lot of people. See, okay, it goes back to like.
Hold on. Let me get on my soapbox.
Finish.
Because I need to fucking say this. Men need to fucking learn how to be rejected.
People need to learn how to be rejected.
Especially men.
Okay.
Because I will see, and I know guys. Let me backtrack. Not men, boys. They need to learn how to fucking be rejected. Because
Males.
a woman, girl, whatever it is, guy will ask for a phone number. The woman will be like, no, I'm just not like interested, or I have a boyfriend. No, you're a fucking bitch. Like, you led me on and stop that.
Yeah.
Just stop that.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't like you. She's not going to like you. If anything, you just took away. You might have seen her 3 weeks from now, and if you would have just left it at that, she would have been like, oh, you know what? Like, maybe I'll just hang around this guy and learn see if I actually enjoy.
There would have been an opportunity, but you took away.
But you done called her a bitch. Now she's in her feelings. Now she's feeling defensive.
I haven't experienced that a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I
have rejected a lot of people, but like.
Yeah, like
well, no,
I've had.
Not like.
Damn,
not
shit.
in a conceited way, but like, because I love to dance. I go out to dance, and if I see a good dancer, I will go ask like, hey, you dance good, let's go dance.
That's different though, because a
like,
lot of women won't.
Yeah,
they won't ever do that.
But then there's a lot of, like, when I get asked out to dance, whether the weirdest thing or the thing that I have a problem with is I tell you no to dance. I tell you no to a drink. There's men that will follow me around the bar.
That's creepy.
And it's creepy. Like, I have to get security involved because it's like, that I feel uncomfortable and I don't feel safe. Like,
let me add that to what I just said about them not being able to handle rejection.
Thank you. Yeah,
that is not okay. Like, that is
No.
handle rejection as a gentleman. If she says no,
It means
she
no.
says no.
Yeah.
If a woman, you will know, like, if a woman is interested in you,
Yep.
she might say, now, okay, I guess there's some women that like to do this double negative bullshit, but it's like, I've had that happen where, like, a girl was like, well, I said no just because I wanted to see you try, and I'm like,
see, but I don't.
Don't get mad. But don't get mad at me because I took you for your word. Like, if you told me no, I'm immediately.
You're gonna respect a no.
You're not interested.
Yeah.
That's fine. That is what it is. Like, I ain't trying to marry you. I ain't trying to take you home. Like, cool. You tell me no. That is the end of that. Like, I have no emotional attachment to that word. It is what it is. But there's some guys that like I had said, where they just want to name call and say some derogatory shit. Then, like you said, where they're following them around, like they're just trying to be the last person they see and buy them a drink and be creepy. And it's like,
that's not cool.
Hey, man,
stop being
have
creepy.
some respect for yourself.
Yeah,
like you're a grown man, grownish man.
Like, that's usually older men.
But like, that's creepy. Yeah. Like, just stop. If a woman tells you no,
it means no.
If she wants a drink from you, you're gonna offer it and she's gonna say yes. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
She took a drink from you. It is what it is.
That's it. That's all.
But I know there's like guys out there. Man, bro, I bought her a beer. She needs to fucking give me a HJ in the parking lot, dog.
What? That's a thing?
I think guys think like I think some guys fucking think like that. Like, transactional. I think they fucking think like that.
I love the circle backs.
Or it's just like, oh, I spent money on you. I put your drinks on my tab. You owe me something.
No, I don't know you shit.
100%. But I
Yeah.
think that people think like that.
Yeah.
And
And it goes back to like,
Handle-
oh, he's not being a dick because I didn't want to have sex with him after he bought me a drink.
But then there's guys that you're like, I want you to fucking buy me a drink. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I need to have a little bit of drinks in me because I'm attracted to you, but I'm also self-conscious and I need to feel a
Yeah.
little confident.
It's all situationally based, I guess. I mean, that's not my cup of tea.
It is.
but
It's complicated,
Yeah.
but at the end, that is the one thing that I will say. I think conversations have helped me understand.
Mhm.
I can look at somebody and be like, "No, you're uncomfortable."
Mhm.
Right? Because a part of a conversation is understanding body language.
Yes,
is
that's
like,
so underrated.
I can understand when I'm putting you like,
But
like
but like, okay, so like how you said it earlier, because I can be having a conversation with somebody and I'd be like, I will stop mid sentence or mid conversation and be like, hey, what's going on? What do you mean what's going on? Well, you just seem off. Like, what's wrong?
yeah.
And you take the time to actually notice that something is off, and people are thrown off by it because nobody notices, nobody listens, nobody takes the time to.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
I mean, but we're expected to find our soulmates, and we're expected everything to be hunky dory and just read minds and be telepathic and
Can you read my mind?
no,
Are you sure?
you're hungry.
What food? What food? If you get the food right, it's telekinesis.
I don't
Come
know.
on. Give me a
Dude,
food.
Whataburger.
Ah, you missed it. It was
Nah.
tacos.
Dude, that was my second guess though.
Sure was.
There's only 2 options in San Antonio.
Whataburger and tacos.
Yeah, it's complicated, but I think what we like, the society we live in now,
Mhm.
and I think most of this could be resolved with just like a mutual respect.
Mhm.
I'm involved with the conversation. I'm paying attention to your emotions. You're doing the same for me. Just like in this whole entire talk, there may have been things that we disagreed on or didn't see eye to eye, or
Yeah.
maybe it took a second for us to elaborate.
Yeah.
Doesn't detract from the conversation. It
No,
it
it
just
just,
means
like-
like, okay, I either need to fine tune my thought
Uh-huh.
or how I'm saying stuff, or I'm just wrong. Like, or we just have
Or
different.
we just have different opinions.
You're a woman,
like,
I'm a guy. Like, we're allowed to. We have 2 completely different
mindsets
views.
and views of things and
So
experiences, and it's okay to have.
it's allowed to do
just
that.
because you have a different opinion from my opinion doesn't mean it's wrong.
Oh, 100%.
And I feel like that's something that's not
But that goes back to like
respect.
people don't know how to have conversations.
Yeah.
It's immediately, oh, you don't agree with me? I don't know how to like
Prove my point.
like
to
if
you.
me like
yeah.
if me and you disagree, how can we have a conversation in a way that allows us to be completely calm, characterize our thoughts, get ourselves
It's
together,
just respect.
and carry on with the conversation?
It's just
it's a s-
respect.
it's
It's
a s-
just respect.
To you, it's as simple as that, but to somebody who doesn't have that attribute,
Yeah.
they immediately freak out. They're like, what do? I don't know how to get back from this. Like, oh my gosh, I've been met with some form of discomfort and I don't know how to do
Somebody's
it.
telling me that I'm wrong in a society that usually tells me I'm right. How am I gonna prove that I'm right? And I feel like that's one of those things. It's like, it's a self validation kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you're telling me that my boots are not purple, I'm gonna freak out because, well, no, I see it as purple. Like, and then it's that self-doubt and the self-validation, so I'm going to argue with you that, no, they're freaking purple, you know? And I think that's one of those things that there's so much, everybody's looking for validation, and when you're met with a different opinion and you're not secure in yourself, that's why that happens.
But you know what validation means to me?
What does it mean to you?
it means like you're entitled. I don't have to validate.
Okay, yeah, no,
I
you
don't have to validate. I don't have
anybody,
to
yeah.
validate shit that you think.
But it's exactly.
But
so
for
it's like,
but for somebody, but for
it's not to cut you off, but it's like that's why I use the word self-validation, because
yeah.
my validation should be enough for me. Like if you see my boots as yellow, you see my boots as yellow, but I know that they're purple.
But with that being said, though, people expect you to just fall in line.
Yeah.
That's where I mean, like okay, you're
controversy.
validated. No, you're entitled.
Okay.
You're entitled to your opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but you're
that's
not
it.
entitled to mine.
Yeah.
Like you don't have. I could sit there and because my truth might also be your truth. If I say your boots are yellow, maybe I have an eye issue that make them give a yellow hue.
Mm-hmm. Or you see that
Maybe
there's
you
one
see
yellow
them as
stripe,
purple
you know?
and
Yeah.
like that whole blue and black versus gold and white dress.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
It's like
It's perspective.
you can have differing opinions and both things can be true.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't always have to be binary. It can be something as simple as like, cool, I agree with you on this, but I slightly disagree with the way maybe it was said.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like, I agree 3/4 of the thought, but then the
mean,
way
like,
you finished
half
it.
of our conversation today was a lot of that. Like, not half of it, but there was parts of our conversation to where, hey, I don't think you're saying this in the right way. And then we further elaborate, and then we agree.
But that's where like the podcast,
Conversation.
but that's where like the podcast and like being able to long drawn out thoughts.
Uh-huh.
Because also I'm drinking. Like, how many people are drinking and getting into deep conversation? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm doing stupid shit when I'm drunk. Like, but it's one of those things where we just, it's hard. We live in a world now that people feel entitled. And that's all
Yeah.
age. There's a lot of age groups,
Mm-hmm.
even people that came from hard generations,
Mm-hmm.
and they feel entitled. And then,
Yeah.
like, there's just all of these different things where, like, you feel like you have to be an altruistic, just, even if it's against what you actually, like, believe,
Mm-hmm.
that they feel like they have to fit a narrative.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, man.
No, you don't.
Just be yourself. Be
Yes,
powerful.
uh-huh.
There is a strength in being
yourself.
true to yourself. And that if
It's
that
about
means
being genuine at the
and
end
if
of the
that
day,
means you being like man, this is going to come off so fucking wrong. Hitler. Right? Hold on. Right? This is going to come off wrong. This is going to come off wrong.
No, I already disagree. Okay, uh-huh.
Hold on.
Okay, I'm listening.
Hitler
Okay.
was not a good person.
No.
However, you have to be able to speak and have a presence about you and believe in what you were saying.
He was a powerful leader.
But that is exactly my point. It
Mhm.
might not always be that you're doing it the best of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Even somebody in the most negative of light. Why was he so powerful? Because he was himself. People believed in what the fuck he was saying. There is a reason why cult leaders are cult leaders. They have a belief in what they're saying. That doesn't mean that they are right.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay,
people
I see your point. I
but
see your
people
point.
are drawn to them because they are unapologetically themselves.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the end game was. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
the reason why I
I'm
used
trying to think of a better example, but
the
like,
reason why I used Hitler is because it was the most negative of things that's happened in history.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment, those people were like, nah, man, he's right. Like,
yeah.
fuck those people. Like, these things are happening. Stalin, right? You look at what happened in Cuba.
Yeah.
All of these people are speaking their own truth, but people are following them because they are themselves.
So do you? Well, I guess.
I don't agree with what they did,
Yeah.
but I'm saying like there is a power.
And being yourself.
There is a
yeah.
superpower that if you are yourself. Now, I do think that obviously like you're obligated to fine tune that, which those other people didn't. There is a superpower to be yourself that people are drawn to.
Uh-huh.
Whether it's relationship-wise, whether it's family-wise, whether it's friendship,
Mm-hmm.
people are drawn to you. Now, I ain't saying go do like a Holocaust or like the Cuban Missile Crisis or like
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like social Russia. Like, you,
I think these are
you don't have to.
horrible examples.
You don't have to. The
Cut-
reason,
cut
but the
it.
reason why they're such good examples is because even in the worst of cases, people think about it.
Like the Kool-Aid man.
Like honestly, would you drink that shit? It's got a bunch of debris in it.
The Kool-Aid?
I mean, he's crashing through walls. There's sheetrock and fucking
That's
wood.
not the Kool-Aid man I was talking about.
Oh, I'm thinking of the actual Kool-Aid man.
No, I'm talking about like the Waco Kool-Aid man.
Where they drinking the poison.
Yeah.
But that literally that is exactly my point though, is like those people had a like because they were unapologetically themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever their belief was. Now I'm not aligning with it.
But then okay, to give it a
even if
to give it a positive aspect, like what was that man's name? Gandhi. Gandhi was a powerful leader, and he moved people through a huge movement, and he had a positive impact because he believed in the power of being himself, and he showed people his thoughts and beliefs and ideas in a very
his may have been a little bit different because some of his stuff was like spiritual and like religion based.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
but it's still like
no, don't get me wrong. I think like a lot of cults and stuff like that are The reason why I use those things as like my examples is because like us as regular people, we know, what you're doing is bad. Mm-hmm. Like us as regular critical thinking individuals, what you're doing is bad. So for you to talk in a way that converts me, that knows what we're doing is bad, I don't know like what it is. Like maybe it's just like I don't fucking know. But you have to believe in what you're saying to convert all of those people, because I would have to assume most of the people that followed any of those examples at first was like, yo, what the fuck are you on about? Like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. And then it just boom, 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 boom. And they're like, yeah, you're right. Fuck those people.
But do you think it's like one of those things, like we were talking about earlier, that it becomes a societal thing that, oh, well, Dylan's doing it, I should probably do it too, to fit in?
But I think it requires somebody like that, that's so polarizing but so believable that you believe in them. Like I said, that's why I jumped to those most extreme.
Yeah, I get your point.
Because it's like, for somebody to completely change the way that they probably think, almost to the point of like, yeah, I'm fine with people dying. There is a superpower in like you being unapologetically yourself. And if you could just turn that into being a good person and having that attribute, like you could do a lot of fucking good for the world. Yeah. Now, on the flip side, you're always going to have your fucking evil creatures and like who I just talked about. But like if you have that superpower and you can turn that into a positive and be a positive footnote on history, like Gandhi. Like Gandhi was a Nelson Mandela. Like, you know what I mean? Like there is plenty of people that spoke out on Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? Like there's plenty of people who spoke out against. He's a very good example of a positive influence that was, no, this is the way it needs to be. I don't care who you are. Like we're equal. Like we're fine. But he believed in everything he said. Unfortunately, he died for the cause. Yeah. But it was one of those things. It was
one of the biggest, most powerful.
Malcolm X. Malcolm X was sitting there talking about violence. But people believed in him because whatever he said, he believed. Yeah. And there's just something about that. There's a reason why there's cult leaders. There's a reason why there's politicians. There's a reason why. I don't even remember what got me started on this fucking tangent. But like.
But yes.
There's a reason there is this.
We're talking about relationships and being ourselves.
But like just being yourself. Yeah. People see through the bullshit. Yeah. People see through the bullshit. But if you're yourself, like there's There's like something that like people, it just draws people in.
Yeah.
People can't get enough of it. There's a reason why like Joe Rogan exists.
Yeah.
Right? People can try to fucking cancel him, but it's like, bro, he talks 3.5 hours every day. Like, we know who Joe Rogan is. Like, what do you want from us? Like, there's a reason.
But it goes back to getting the truth. Not necessarily the truth of what's being said, but like the truth about like that person is that person unapologetically themselves. And that's just their true person, you know?
Yeah, and it's just like that part's, we live in a world now where I think people are hungry for that. Like,
yeah.
I think people,
we're just past all the bullshit. Like, I feel like people were getting tired of it.
I think that people missed part of their lives in learning that aspect to where now, okay, so they just like woke up and they lost all of that in between area that could have taught them that thing, and now they don't know how to do that, so now they're seeking it.
Yeah.
To maybe be able to learn, like I said, live vicariously through it, whatever it may be, but it's like,
it's to fill it up, that part of themselves that's not being fulfilled.
Maybe.
You know, it could be.
I mean, but that gives me an opportunity. I am very much unapologetically myself.
Yes.
Like,
I do not, there's no doubt in my head that is true. But I know it's true. I mean, I've known you again for friggin' forever, and you're still the same person that, I mean, you've grown, but we all
I'm
grow,
very
but you're
open.
very much the same person that you were
I'm very
ago.
open-minded. Like, this thing has like it's forced me to like
see things differently.
But it's also good for me to have a female perspective on here. Because like I said, I talk to a lot of guys, and I talk to, obviously I talk to women like outside of here, whether I'm talking to my lady or I'm talking to family or I'm talking to you,
my lady.
Just whoever. Gotta let y'all know. You know what I'm saying?
He's not single.
I'm not. She is though. Maybe. I don't possibly.
It's always a mystery.
Check out local Tinder.
I'm not on it.
Nah, it's just. It gives. I'm never.
If I get a bunch of randoms stalking me after this, I'm blaming you.
Bro, like I have 47 subscribers, cuz.
Hey, that's enough.
There's 47 dicks in the inbox.
No!
Some of them are females.
This is horrible.
Yeah, but it gives people like me an opportunity to capitalize on these things because I think people, and not everybody wants to hear a famous person talk, right? Like, sometimes, I think some people are.
I feel like that's how a lot of people got famous. It's just, well, not famous, but like a lot of people became influencers because they started off as the normal person doing their thing.
But then, do they change?
Do they change?
I think some of them do.
Tell me whenever you're.
I don't think I'll ever change. I'm me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I might start buying some more stupid shit.
Yeah, I think that's what I see you doing.
But I don't think I would change.
Let me know when you buy a boat. I'll buy you a captain's hat.
I might buy a boat, a cheaper boat. They're coming back down too. Like $10,000, I can get me a nice little. We'll see. We'll see. But
this has been a good podcast show.
Yeah, like
episode.
I said, work
good episode.
shit, almost 3 hours.
Damn.
So this is gonna end up being
I'm gonna hate you tomorrow. I got work.
So do I, but I work nights.
I work at 9 in the morning.
So, but yeah. I mean, it's been a good time. Like, there's a lot of things.
I'll be back. If you invite me again.
Okay, so not to get that off track because I know you got to go. I do have one. Like, I've been having this thought, and I've like asked guys.
Ask me.
Do you think we'll ever get to a place of like peace as long as we're sexual beings? Like as long as that we are motivated by sex, and by sex, obviously that's a vague term, but like sexual organs. Like as long as like I know power can achieve like get women, and women knows that they can use their
See, but it's
cooch to get things. Do you think we'll ever get to a place where there's peace while we are sexual creatures?
but see, like, that's maybe I'm not the right. Well, maybe I am not the right person or wrong person to ask, but I grew up seeing something completely different. You know, like I go back to my parents and how they're very. There is problems in every relationship, right? But they're so peaceful together that's what I grew up with. That is my expectation in a relationship. Yeah. And I don't think, for me, again, women are more emotionally driven, but and yes, sex is great, and when the compatibility is there, it's great. But at the end of the day, if I have guy A and guy B, sex is average with guy A, sex is great with guy B, but guy A feeds more of my emotional stuff, and I am at peace with this.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that guy B isn't, like, giving me peace, but it's just I am more fulfilled emotionally. That allows me to be peaceful with him and him with me. I think it's just something it's a mindset thing and not necessarily an organ thing.
Okay, so I understand that from like an individual aspect, but like as a societal, right? Because you're talking about
that would just mean more people as a society have to understand that.
But like, do you think that there's a capability of us finding as a society, and when I say society, I'm talking worldwide, right? That we could find a piece about us that's not sex related, right? Like most people get into power because of what it can bring to them. Most people become successful because they know that it could be, you know what I'm saying? Like there's,
I kind of disagree though.
I mean, there's money, power, and weed. Like that's what the rappers talk about.
But like again, it's just like.
So you think that we could?
Yeah, because
I don't.
I
think we're too motivated. I think we're too motivated as animal. I think we would require.
See, but I disagree there. Everybody has needs, yes. But I've met plenty of people that's not their drive. So think of all the people that just don't voice it because it's not a popular opinion, that's not their drive.
But we're not talking about the small.
No.
We're I'm not talking about the small percentage of people that's not.
We're talking about society as a whole. But think of
those people would have to be so much more vocal in the ability to convert.
But then again, it's like, ask yourself, did gay people think that they would ever be such a huge movement?
To be fair, I don't think they really cared.
Yeah, I think that, whenever they were being oppressed for liking same sex.
I mean, I think that that there was like a time in history that they were like, we're just having fun, like we're doing whatever we're doing. Now, don't get me wrong. I think once they broke that threshold and they were having too much fun, that's when it was like, no, you can't.
No,
I don't know because
because people were like
the 70s and 80s, man, like they were
70s and 80s were crazy, but like
they were crazy
because that's whenever they finally started breaking out. But before then, we're talking about early 1900s when people would be killed for.
That's different. Yeah,
but it's like it's an evolution that happened with a minority of percentage to something that's global now.
Yeah.
You know, to answer your question, my opinion is that, yeah, it's possible because not everybody's sex propelled.
See, Yeah, I disagree. I think that you
But
could
we have two
yeah,
different. Yeah.
yeah. I think you could get people on board, but I think you're still gonna have those alpha, like super successful, super passionate, super well speaking people that just
Like to fuck.
yeah, like we were talking about cult leaders, and it's like, why does it always happen that the cult leader has to fuck the people that they're following's wife?
Yeah.
Right? Because that is just a weird characteristic of power. I don't really know what that would. But you look
I
at
think
people
it
like
goes
that,
back.
and I'm like,
It, like,
they exist in the
I
world.
think. I think that's like a overindulgence thing.
But my point is like they exist in the world,
Mm-hmm.
so you're either gonna have to eliminate that in whatever way you seem fit, or
No, or just at the end of the day, the minority, or that would be a minority.
but I'm talking about an entirety. Like I'm talking about like we have to get so many people, maybe not 100%, but I'm saying we
But
have
the
to get
world
so
is
many
so
people.
small.
Like we
Like,
have
as
to get
big as
so
it-
many
uh-huh.
people on board with the thought of desexualizing stuff.
Yeah.
And that includes movies, that includes social media, that includes
Do
just
you're asking me if I think it's possible? Yes. Do I know when or how recent? No. I
yeah.
think we can get to that point because generations change over time. There's different mistakes over different eras, and we slowly learn.
I think it
We
would
repeat
take
a lot of things.
Yeah, I think we would have to evolve into a creature that almost becomes like asexual.
No, I completely disagree. Sex is beautiful.
No. I'm not saying like sex is bad. I'm saying like
No,
for
you think
us,
that for
for
us
that
as a
to-
society to not be sexually driven to have peace, I think that we can have peace and have sex and not be sexually driven.
would that Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe if we went back
To the basics.
like heavily like in regards to religion, right? Cuz like how much sexualization do you have in like Muslim countries? Cuz they're very strict.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that answer. That's like
yeah, no,
I don't
I wouldn't know either.
So you know what I mean? So like maybe like there's certain religion based things that like if we went back
Mm-hmm.
that there is a way around it. Yeah, I don't know. Like cuz I still feel like you're always just going to have those guys that know.
Yeah, there's
Or
always
guys
gonna
or
be
women that
somebody.
just know.
Yeah, there's always gonna be somebody, but it's like it goes back to a respect thing. If we learn as a
lot of people.
society to learn how to respect one another's opinions and bodies, I feel like that's one of those things that, because again, I'm not super familiar with Middle Eastern religions, but that's one of the things. A woman is a property. We don't have that. Women do not have the same rights as men over there.
Which
Which
you know what I'm saying?
If it was different as far as like in the aspect of respect, could there be peace? I think so.
Yeah, which I mean it sounds bad, but would it have to come down to something so stringent, right? Like a person is a but like I own, like you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like does it have to come down cuz I mean I feel like that's pretty I almost feel like we have to evolve into a place where like either our hormones or something is so far removed. Like I'm not saying that you can't do it, but I'm saying like that we're not. Yeah, I honestly I was thinking about that the other day, and I'm like I don't know what it would take.
It's one of those agree to disagree things.
Yeah, because like at some point you're gonna have those hyperactive, overly
Mm-hmm.
competent, like hormonal people that just like they know the game, they know like how.
Yeah, but then again, it's like you're talking about society as a whole, like the entire world. Is
Even in the
everybody that way?
even in
You
the
know?
U.S.,
Yeah, like
even in the
is
U.S., like
everybody
for
that
us to
way?
get to that point,
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody. Well,
See
not
again, and then
not
it goes,
everybody.
and then it goes back to how truthful is whatever majority of the social media is right now.
I think we're more prevalent. I think it's more prevalent, and I think we're more open and susceptible to it now because, like, you get on Instagram and you're seeing a girl with her tits out, right? So I think it's like, okay, yeah, we might have a percentage of people that don't align with that, but we're so conditioned to the sexualization of almost anything.
I think porn
that
is a huge part of that.
100%. And a lot of people speak out on that. But I think that those things that has desensitized the spiritualness of like an intimate moment between a man and a woman, I think we've gotten so far removed that to me, I feel like we may have to remove some of that, like, and I don't know what it would take.
If
Like, do you think if we
think about it this way? So, like, let's say we're a controlled group, right? And us and our friends, we all get married, we have kids, and we're in this controlled group, and all of us believe to teach our children about respect and the meaning and the spirituality of what happens between a man and a woman, what the intimacy of that is, of what sex is, and deter them from the way that things are being taught now, that would be a completely different mindset of that generation.
Okay, so I'm hearing what you're saying, and I immediately started thinking, okay, then they turn 12 and get an Instagram. Right, so
yeah.
So
like,
then, okay,
like, so for me,
so then let me change my question though.
Okay.
Okay, so instead of saying as long as we are sexually driven, do you think that we could get to that point without social media? Because then it would be completely based on what you're.
Without social media, I think it would be a lot easier. But like, so
I think that's primarily the driving factor. That and porn.
I have this family that I used to babysit for, and now her kids are getting older and she homeschools them. But and they have social media and they have friends or whatever when they go to like their groups and stuff. But because she took the time to explain to them and show them like, hey, this is right and this is wrong, in her opinion, they learn how to love and respect themselves, and it's about learning how to love and respect myself in order to respect other people.
But see, that's where I think social media fucks everybody up. Like, so, like, let me use you as a woman as an example. Like, I guess men,
typical man using
we kind of like have that issue because like you'll see 6-pack abs and whatever. But like I think for the most part we just don't give a fuck. But girls, it's like you don't have the big lips, you don't have the big tits, the big ass, you're not thick, you're not this, you're not that, like you can't twerk, you can't, like there's a reason why their suicide rate with like young women is so high.
But look at the one for men, it's much higher.
For grown men it is. For young well. But for young women, it's very high because I think like when they're the most hormonal, they're looking at this Instagram and Facebook stuff, and it's like
it goes to an identity crisis thing.
But they're so young, like they don't know. You know what I mean? Like who were you when you were 14? Like I think all of us, like at a certain age, we were just kind of like just figuring shit out.
See, like everybody goes through that, and I think it goes back to like how we're raised at home. It goes back to the guidance.
That's why okay, so like whenever I changed the question, yeah, I think it might be
at home.
I think it could be possible if the internet just disappeared. I do. Yeah. Like because you have young girls curious and they're watching porn and now they fucking think that they need to be doing anal. You know what I'm saying? Or like they need to be cradling the balls as they're sucking dick. It's like, no, like you need to That's what they're like.
Okay.
They're curious and they're like learning that shit and thinking they need to be all that. And it's like, no, just like regular stuff is fine. Like you're watching the extreme. Like you're
Yeah.
watching the most extreme version of
But
whatever
then it's like we're talking about the intimacy and the spirituality of what sex is, and like
that desensitizes it.
that desensitizes it.
But
though.
that's why I'm saying like, so it's either mine's kind of a caveat is like we're either going to take away sexual, like I think that we would have to evolve into almost an asexual being, or
no,
or
just like,
hold on, or the internet dissipates and we're able to actually teach respect and be able to teach everything back to basics the way, which I would prefer that one. Is like, because I don't think that while you could get on Google and search favorite positions while you're doing XYZ, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how
I understand your point, but I feel like you're answering your question in a non-realistic way.
No, 100%. I know I'm not.
And
That's how extreme it is.
And I'm answering it in a realistic way. In a realistic way, it starts at home. It starts with, if that's how you want to raise your kid, and that's how I'm wanting to raise my kid, imagine all the other people that think the way we're thinking, that are not voicing their opinion, and that's how they're going to raise their kids.
I just...
You know, it's like, it's going to be a different generation, and it's a different thought. Like, millennial kids are have accessibility to a lot of things.
You know, millennials not even that young. It's like to 95.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even that...
Yeah. So, like, I guess I'm talking about more, like, parents that are, like, 80s, early 90s is what I'm thinking.
I think that's, like, late 80s and early 90s.
Like,
I think some of that's still millennial.
So, yeah. So, millennial parents, I feel like, because they grew up with super strict parents,
now they're being lax.
This whole new wave, when their parents, they're not giving that guidance and that structure to their kids. So now those kids are growing up with free range and accessibility to everything, but now they're craving that guidance. And as adults, they're finding that on their own. So what are they going to do with their kids? They're going to give them guidance. They're going to give them the complete opposite, and they're going to give them the things that they have been craving that their parents gave them. It's a cycle.
I still think, yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with what you're saying.
I also agree with what you're saying, but we're answering the question in two different ways.
But it's so you can do, and obviously there's not really any way to resolve it. Is you can do everything you're saying. They get a little bit of that internet, and then it's like, fuck, you don't know which way.
Yes and no.
That's the scary
because
part.
It's like, my parents were fairly strict on me when I was growing up, and then, I mean, I had the internet, and I probably went to like 2 or 3 years where I was like, ooh, I'm a free spirit, I'm gonna do whatever I want. But then I get to a point to where, oh no, like that's not what I want. And I go back to the basics that I was raised on, and I realize that is what I want, and that's what I prefer. So it's like, it goes back to the basics. It goes back to the foundation that you build. So if enough people are building the right foundation because that's what they're craving and that's what they see that's what's needed, it's possible.
So if they come from a not even semi, if they come from like a broken family, do you think that they would have that same perspective? Like, maybe not.
Yes.
Right? So, like, maybe they would be looking at, like, if they're a female, maybe they'd be looking at a man in a different sense because they have that yearning. And then they're like...
But it goes back to that self-education and realization that, oh, I grew up in a broken home. I don't believe men and trust men because my dad left my mom and cheated and blah, blah, bad situation. But it's one of those things that, like, I have to learn that my mom's problems and the things that she went through and that man are not me. That is a completely different thing. That's not what I want.
I think that's a I think that that's a mature way, because I would argue
Exactly, but
I
why?
would argue that like that's kind of how I've handled my life.
Mm-hmm.
Was I had looked at the deficiencies of my family and said I want to be the complete opposite.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I
But
Like I said, I know.
you're right as far as like it's a maturity thing, and not everybody can do it, but everybody has the ability to do it.
I
So
understand that.
there's no excuse on why I can't blame my mommy daddy issues for all my relationships the rest of my life. If I want to fix
But-
something about me, I can fix it because you have Google, you have therapists, you have people that you can talk to. There's books, there's so much education that you can educate yourself on something, but you're not gonna change until you choose to change.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I mean, you've lived it, you've done it yourself.
Yeah, but it also took me experience. Like it took
Mhm.
me like, while I will agree with what you just said, as you're going through the 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever age group
Mhm.
that I guess like you're the most hormonal, finding the most about yourself, so on and so forth,
Mhm.
you got to get through that.
Mhm.
And I think like while the internet exists and you're trying to find out like example, so like if you're coming from a family with a single mom and you see men in and out of the house,
Mhm.
and then you're old enough to get on the internet and you're like, well, what keeps a man? Oh, well, now I'm on porn. Now you think that this is the thing that keeps, you know what I'm saying? And then there's a cycle. So like what I'll do is I definitely appreciate the optimism,
Uh-huh.
because I think it speaks more volumes about like how you were raised and like your mindset on certain things,
Mhm.
because you obviously have a more positive outlook on. That's the reason why I wanted to ask the question,
Uh-huh.
was because I think I'm probably more of like,
Pessimistic on the idea.
yeah, I think I'm more of like almost like an absolutist, where I'm like, dude, it's gonna take something fucking crazy to change that.
No, because it's like I told you earlier today that I had a problem with realizing that, hey, you're more than just a sex object.
100%.
Because of the internet and because of the things that I went through, it took my self-actualization to be like, oh no, that's not okay. That is not the right way. I want to do better. I want better. And I took the time to change and to learn and to grow. But that can be anybody.
Yeah.
You know?
No, 100%. Like, but that's, once again, that's why I go back. I appreciate the optimism, because like as somebody who's being kind of like a realist or pessimist or however you want to phrase it, is like, that is a breath of fresh air to believe that like, hey, if somebody's raised properly, have a healthy mind
Yeah.
on them, hasn't come from damage, that maybe, hey, there is a chance that if we just work on healthy relationships and raising people the proper way, that, hey, maybe, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Maybe I don't have to be so like absolute about whatever I'm talking about, because
Mhm.
maybe instead of me saying the internet's the bad, it's the devil, or we have to fucking go to some asexual creature being thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just as
no.
simple as, hey, we get back to the basics, learn how to love each other,
Yeah.
be healthy, raise respectable people.
Be a good person, love yourself, learn who you are, accept who you are, and just go down to the basics. Respect one another, respect yourself.
Yeah.
Like in reality, like that's what it is. That's
Well-
literally what we've talked about the entire. I feel like that was one of the.
Yeah, I
the-
brought you on to talk about real estate shit.
I
and then
know,
we didn't
so-
really talk about real estate shit. I guess we did for like the
Yeah,
first
we
10
did.
minutes, and then it was just like, yo, I got this question. So, like I said, I appreciate that optimism.
Uh-huh.
Because, I mean, it's not like I'm like hardcore on my position on it,
Uh-huh.
but it is something that's very, like,
You haven't seen anything otherwise.
but it's obvious in the real world,
Mhm.
right? Like, why do people come to power? And there's multiple things that
Mhm.
lead to that. And
Yeah.
I was just curious, because it's like, I think that question can give me a very big insight on what kind of person that person
Okay.
is. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because I think
could-
that there's people that have been hurt or phased by the sexualization of the world,
Uh-huh.
and then there's other people that's like, no, I fully believe in love, marriage, raising kids the right way, and so
Mhm.
on and so forth. So
Yeah, and it's like, and I understand both. Like, could I get 110% of whatever I wanted because I am a woman and there's that sexual power in it? Probably.
there's
Is
people
that
that know that.
and there's
You
yeah,
know?
and it's like, I mean, I know it, but that's not how I want to do things. Like, because I learned that despite social media and everything else that sexualizes me and uses and tells me that that's how I get somewhere, I know that that's not how I get somewhere. You know?
Yeah. Well,
This is a good talk.
yeah.
How long did we talk today?
Almost 3.5. I was supposed to let
Damn.
you go at 3,
Yeah.
and I had to fucking
You were
keep.
supposed to let me go at 1, and then at 2,
Yeah.
and then at 2:30.
Well, that's what happens, man.
And
We
it's
we
like a
just keep talking.
conversation,
We just
yeah.
keep.
I don't mind. It's been
But
nice.
no, I appreciate your optimism.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I try to stay off social media, and I try to like not be a hysterical type of person
Mhm.
where like dude, I don't pay attention to news. I don't pay attention.
Yeah.
I really don't pay attention to anything. I just focus on, because I realize it's not good.
Mhm.
I even stay away from I stay away from porn. If there's something on Instagram where they're like, oh my God, this is how I choke. And I'm like, fucking unfollow. Like, get
Yeah.
off. Like, just stop. So I try.
But there's a lot of good things that you could follow on social media too.
No.
You know?
There is a lot of positives,
It's what you choose to do.
but like I'd followed a lot of these pages because they were something like cars or
Yeah.
whatever, and then they sold out, and then they just started sharing other stuff, and it's like, what do you do with that? Like, just unfollow. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like you see some of these like pages, or you see some of this other stuff that you kind of respect, that you
Mhm.
enjoyed, and then once again, like, just something sexual takes over. Now they're talking about some girl's free OnlyFans, or they're talking about like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what does she do? So, but as somebody who comes from a relatively broken home, to hear the optimism of somebody who comes from a healthy family base and a strong woman with a career, and like what the expectation is, and so on and so forth, like, it's
Oh, don't flatter me so
but
much.
it's like it's a refresher, because
Uh-huh.
like there might be a young woman watching this
Mhm.
who is at a crossroads,
Mhm.
right? She might not come from the healthiest of families,
Mhm.
but she might be observant in the way that maybe this is how I can handle myself.
Mhm.
And that might be a situation where she can hear what a healthy person like puts them, like the characteristics and the like how they carry themselves,
Yeah.
and she might be able to be like, oh, I don't have to be this
The-
bad bitch that's in a rap video. I don't
Yeah.
have to be this dumb slut that's on Instagram. I don't have to be any of this.
Yeah.
I can be myself. I can be strong. I can be
I
name
can be
it.
strong. I can be sexy. I can be a boss. I can be whatever I want to be. But
Can be all of it.
I can be all of it and still choose to love and respect myself and obligate, not obligate, but expect love and respect from everybody else.
but also be able to accept love.
Yeah.
There's a lot of strong women that have a hard time being loved.
Mhm.
That's a problem. But like I said, I'm not going to over flatter you. I know I've kept you way longer than I was supposed to. But no, like, seriously, there might be, we never know like how far these things reach. Like, there might
Yeah.
be somebody that is even a young man,
Yeah.
right? Might be at a crossroads, and they're just like, man, I really identify with like some of the things that they talked about, or like kind of just worked through, or even somebody that doesn't know how to have conversations, and they're just damn, you see the way that they're able
Yeah.
to kind of work through like disagreements or like
Hey,
misunderstandings
so
or
that's another thing that I think is kind of cool. That I mean, when was the last time we saw each other? It's been over.
yeah, it's been a
been
minute.
like 2 years,
I mean, it's been a minute. So,
and we still can have like a really good conversation. Like we've been talking since I got here, even before
Yeah.
we got on the podcast.
and I mean, we're going to do this again.
Mhm.
I like doing this shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it gives me a different perspective. It gives me a different opportunity with somebody that's obviously open to several. Maybe next time we'll talk more real estate.
Hey, honestly, I didn't mind this at all. I enjoyed it.
But
Thank you for having me on your podcast.
yeah. But I,
Yeah.
appreciate you coming out. I know you're a little bit nervous at first, but see, it wasn't that bad.
It
Like
wasn't
once you
that
get
bad.
started, it's fine.
You got me heated
So-
on the topic, and then we just kept going.
Yeah, then I can't get you to stop.
You talk a lot too.
I talk too much. That's why I do this shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is gonna be probably a 2-parter. So
Yeah.
you gave me more than I even asked. So if any of y'all need real estate, do you do leases?
Yeah,
Rents?
so I do if you're looking to sell your home, looking to buy a home, looking to rent your home or to rent a home, even apartments, I can help out with all that.
Okay, and as far as like buying,
Mhm.
like I know earlier you were giving me some guidance on like
Mhm.
purchasing
Mhm.
the different things like
Yeah,
that. Like,
so, like-
so if somebody was just to reach out to you, they maybe don't know.
Where to start
Would you
or-
be open to like
Yes,
kind of
of-
giving them
Of
some
course,
guidance?
like, and I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't know is so I would
No, we don't. We don't. And Google's no fucking help.
No, so the point of a realtor is we are 110% your person to figure all of that for you.
But I think we're scarred from realtors because some of them would be like $50 for me to find you some shit, and it's like,
no, not at all.
it's like,
If
get
anybody
outta
tells you
here.
that is illegal.
but like, there's like a real estate fee or like I don't even know what it is.
No,
I don't know.
That's
I
so
think
illegal. If any of that happened, that was like before 2008. But there's so many laws and regulations to keep people from doing that. So if anybody's doing that to you, it's illegal. No, our information is there is a not a contract, but a representation agreement. Like, hey, I'm representing you. I'm going to be here. I'm going to vouch for you. I'm going to negotiate you. Our responsibility as a realtor is the client's best interest.
okay.
All your information will be confidential with me. Everything that you are wanting, it's my job to look out for your best interest in whatever home you're buying or selling or renting.
Got you.
Mhm.
Well, so I know like at least a part of my social media stuff.
Uh-huh.
I have a very like wide variety of people on there.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, are you open to giving me your socials?
Yeah, I can give you my email and social media and
So what I'll do is like whenever I'm doing the description and stuff like this, I'll drop
drop
it
it in.
down. Like I'll have whatever the socials are. That's the best way to get a hold of you.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Email.
just
Yeah.
that way just people can either ask you questions,
Mhm.
get a little more informed, or bro, all day she's just on Snapchat talking about her outfits. So
Not true. But I mean, I have to show them off because I look super cute sometimes.
but no, I appreciate you making time. We got to do this. We got to do this again. 3.5 hours came pretty fucking easy.
It honestly didn't
So-
even feel like 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
I
no,
feel like
that's the
beauty of it,
the
though.
power of conversation and Coors Light.
Coors Light.
But anyways, I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for
Um,
having me.
Hopefully people watch this.
Yeah.
Hopefully people don't get bored. Hopefully people were like, he's drunk. He's stupid.
I don't think you're not even drunk.
No, I'm not. But, you can tell when the alcohol hits because I just start saying I start saying fuck a lot.
Really? Honestly, I didn't even notice.
Nah, I'm not like drunk.
Well, because
but
you're not drunk, yeah.
yeah, I'm not drunk. But like definitely the alcohol gets me a little more comfy. But
Get little flush cheeks.
But no, I appreciate you coming. Like I said, we'll have you out. Shit, I might even fucking talk you into a segment. We'll see.
Okay.
I know
Insist.
we'd have to get like way better at scheduling, so you're not having to stay up late. It's like you're a
Yeah.
busy ass woman, but
Yeah. I was showing all day today, and I'll be showing all day
but I
tomorrow,
think
and-
people would appreciate
yeah,
like the
inside of it, and
the retrospective version of like relationships, like two people from different, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, in the description we'll put all of your socials.
I'll be your Thursday specials.
We'll work it out.
Uh,
We'll work it out. But like I said, I appreciate you coming.
yeah, no, of course.
This I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this.
Break it all down.
Yeah, I gotta figure it out. So I'm creative. Even if it's not like the best. But anyways, I appreciate you coming. We'll get you out of here.
Sayonara. Is that how you close out? How do you close
Signing
out?
off, dog.
Signing off.